Okay, so today we look at transistor. Okay, this one also a bit difficult topic. Okay, now transistor. Okay, basically transistor have two types. One we call it the NPN transistor. The other one is PNP. Now transistor is like your diode. Okay, it is made from P type and N type semiconductor lah. But the only difference is transistor will have three terminals. Diode has only two terminals. Transistor will have three terminals. Okay, so they have three terminals lah. Okay, so basically, right, it's like this. Okay, so transistor, they have three terminal, like three legs like that lah. Okay, so this one, the bottom one, we call it emitter. Okay, emitter basically the function is to supply charges. Okay, to supply charges to collector. So on top here will be collector lah. Okay, collector, and then this one will be base. Okay, so we have emitter, base, collector. Now the function of emitter is to supply charges to collector. So in the case of NPN, emitter will supply electron lah. In the case of PNP, emitter will supply positive hole. Okay, positive hole so can lah. Okay, now function of base is to control the flow of charges from emitter to collector. So base will control lah. Okay, whereas collector will receive the charges. So emitter will supply, collector will receive, base will control the flow of charges. Now the actual symbol for NPN is like this. Arrow going down. PNP, the arrow going down, going up. Okay, so emitter, base, collector. This one actually shows the direction of current lah. Okay, later we'll see why. This one for NPN, the arrow going down. For PNP, the arrow going up. Okay. Now, so now since we have two types of transistor, right? So we look at how a transistor is connected in a circuit. Okay. Now, so in the case of NPN, right? Okay, in the case of NPN, okay, the emitter must be connected to the negative terminal. So emitter will be connected to negative terminal. Base will be connected to positive terminal. So if you see, right, the emitter here is connected to a negative terminal. The base will be connected to positive terminal. So emitter will be negative. Whereas the collector will be more positive. Okay, so collector will be connected to more positive. Okay, now, so if you look at emitter and base, right? Emitter and base. Now, basically they, okay, let's say I draw in this manner. Okay, so we have the emitter, we have the base. Okay, now if you look at this part only, right? Okay, you only look at this part between the emitter and base. Okay, so you see that the base will be connected to a positive terminal. The emitter will be connected to a negative terminal. So emitter is an N-type semiconductor. The base will be P-type semiconductor. So actually, the emitter and the base is like a diode. Okay, it's a diode. Okay, so the emitter must be connected to negative. The base must be connected to positive, so that the emitter and base will have a forward bias because they act like a diode. Okay, see, this one is an N-type. So N-type is connected to negative, P-type connected to positive. Okay, so that means it acts like a diode. Okay, now, so what happened? Okay, we look at the emitter and base first. Emitter and base. Now, if you look at the base, right? Okay, the base is very, other than its positive, the base also is just a tiny layer. That means it has limited number of holes for this case lah. Okay, limited number of charges, limited number of holes. So what happens is when you connect the emitter and base like this, right? So what happens is, okay, there'll be flow of electron from emitter to base. So because negative and negative will repel, right? So let's say 10 electron goes to base. Yeah. Now we know the base is positive, the collector is more positive. Now there's a reason why the collector is more positive, so that now out of 10 electron, maybe 2 electron will go to base. 8 electron will go to collector. Okay. Why? Because the collector is more positive compared to base. It's represented by more battery. Okay. That means what happened? Less electron will go to base, more electron will go to collector. Okay, that means what happens is you see that less electron goes to base, more electron goes to collector. So let's say if you put a bulb here, right, you see that the bulb will be dimmer. Okay, here if you put a bulb, the bulb will be brighter. Why? Because more charges goes to collector compared to base. Okay, more charges goes to collector compared to base lah. Okay, so that's why you see that. Okay, okay, at the base there, the bulb will be dimmer. At the collector, the bulb will be brighter. Okay, now, Okay, yeah. So this one, right? So this is another animation about your transistor. Okay, this is a NPN transistor. So this is your NPN transistor, right? So this will be your emitter. This will be the base. Sorry. Okay, this one will be the collector. So this is your base lah. Okay, so what happened is, right? Okay, you see, right? The emitter is connected to a negative terminal. Okay, emitter is connected to negative, and then the base is connected to positive. The collector is connected to more positive. So in this animation, they represent by bigger size of a battery lah. Okay, that means here is more positive. Okay, so the base is less positive lah. Okay, so what happens is the electron will flow from your okay, so it will flow from your emitter to your base and collector. So you can see less electron goes to base, more electron will go to collector. Why? Because collector is more positive, and then the emitter is just a tiny layer. So that's why if you put a bulb at the collector, you can see the bulb is much more brighter. Okay, the bulb is much more brighter. Okay, so just now let's say for the example, let's say here 10 electron from the emitter. So 8 electron, let's say, goes to your collector, 2 electron goes to your base. Okay, you see the flow of electron is this way. Okay, so the flow of electron this way. That means the current will be in the opposite direction. Okay, so that means your current will flow in this manner. So this is how your current will flow lah. So the current will flow this way. Okay, this one we call it as base current or IB lah. So that means your current will flow in this manner. So this one will be your base current. Okay, and then this one will be your collector current or IC. Okay, this one will be your IC lah. So this will be your collector current. Okay, so that means out of 10 electron, 2 electron goes here, 8 electron goes here. So the flow of electron is in the manner, but current will flow in the opposite direction. Okay, so the current, so current will be like this. So this one is your collector current. So your collector current will flow in this manner, your base current will flow in this manner, and then the two current will join. Okay, the two current will join and then they come out there lah. So this one we call it as emitter current or IE. Okay, so basically like this lah. So let's say the electron from emitter goes to your collector, few will go to base. Okay, so that means your current will be in the opposite. So this one will be your collector current, this will be your base current. So they come out there will be emitter lah, and then they split back. So current is in the opposite direction of your electron. Okay, current is in the opposite direction of your electron. Okay, so current is in the opposite direction of electron. Okay, so if your electron move this way, that means current move in the opposite direction lah. Okay, so you can see that less charges goes to base, more charges goes to collector. Okay, so this is for NPN transistor. Okay, NPN transistor. Okay, so now what are the characteristics of transistor that you must know? Okay, first, okay, so the base current is very small compared to collector current. Just now we already saw lah, because the base get lesser charges compared to collector. Now usually the base current is in microampere. The collector can be in milliampere. Okay. Next, a small changes in the base current produce a big changes in collector current. Now what is meant by this statement? Okay. Now let's see lah. Okay. Okay. For example purpose lah. So let's say this voltage is 5 volt. Okay. Let's say this one is 1 volt. So just now I say maybe okay 10 electron from emitter. So out of 10 electron, let's say 2 electron goes here, 8 electron goes here. Now let's say if I change the base voltage to 2 volt, so now maybe 20 electron will go to here. 20 electron will be coming from an emitter. So out of 20 electron, because your base is just a tiny space and then limited number of volt, and then on top of that is still less positive compared to base. So now maybe the number of electron that goes to base becomes 4 electron. But the number of electron that goes to collector becomes 16 electron. So 16 plus 4 get 20. So what happened is just now, right? Your base, right? So your base initially was 2 electron. Now increase to another 2 lah, so it becomes 4 electron. Okay, whereas for collector, okay, initially just now was 8 electron, and then after that you increase some more to 8 electron because the base voltage increased, so it becomes 16 electron. That means small changes in the base produces a big changes in the collector. That is what meant by this statement lah. Okay, so a small changes in the base current produce big changes in collector current.
Sure.
Okay? Yeah.
But so if you increase the voltage, is more electrons.
Yeah, because you'll be able to attract more.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's like this lah. Let's say this one is Tusha, right? This one is Somesh. Right. So got 10 girls here lah. Huh? So out of 10 girls, because Tusha is less handsome compared to Somesh, maybe out of 10 girls, maybe 2 girls go to Tusha lah. And then 8 girls will go to Somesh. Okay, no Tusha? Wait.
Okay, then continue.
Okay. So let's say Tusha, okay, do some facial stuff, so it becomes
Glow up.
Huh?
Glow up.
Slightly more handsome now. So maybe out of that, you attract 20 girls. But still, end of the day, Somesh is much more handsome compared to Tusha. So maybe now, maybe 4 girls will go to Tusha lah. Now 16 girls will go to Somesh. That means small changes in your base current produces big changes in the collector current. Okay.
Okay, moral of the story?
Huh? Your brother is more handsome than you. Okay. So it's like that lah. Huh? Okay. So small changes in the base current produces big changes in collector current. Okay, now IE equals to IB plus IC. Yeah? Now this is your base current. Okay. So this is your collector current. Okay. So remember, right? Electron flow this way. So current move in the opposite direction. So this will be the base current flowing this way, collector current flowing this way. So they will combine here lah. So that's why your emitter current is the base current plus your collector current. So example lah, let's say your collector current is 100 ampere. Okay, example only. Let's say your base current is 2 ampere. So that means it's 100 plus 2, right? So you get 102 ampere lah. It's same like your electron, right? Because let's say 10 electron, right? So 2 goes here, 8 goes up. That means 8 plus 2 will give you 10 electron that from the emitter. So that means base current plus collector will give you emitter current. Okay, now this one, the last one is quite important also. Now, when there is no base current, there won't be any collector current. IB 0, IC equals 0. Now, what is meant by this statement is, now let's say, right, there's a switch here. Okay, there's a switch here. Now, let's say if you off the base. Now, when you off the base, what happens is, let's say you only you only connect the emitter to the collector. So what happens is there won't be any charges going to straight to your collector. Okay, because this is a diode. That means the base must be in the forward, the base and emitter must be in the forward bias. That means you need to on this. That means what happens is the electron must go to base first. After that, they must go to collector. They cannot bypass straight go to collector without owning the base. That's what is meant by this. That means if there's no base current, there won't be any collector current. Okay, so it's something like a diode. Because this is your emitter. Sorry. This is your base, right? This is your emitter. Okay, so let's say this is your battery. Okay, your emitter is this one is P, this is N, right? I only talking about these two first. So let's say if I have a switch here, I open the switch. That means your base is not in a positive voltage. So that means your electron cannot jump straight to your collector. Okay, that means it must go from emitter to base and then from base goes to collector. That's what it meant by if there's no base current, there won't be any collector current. Okay, so no base current, no collector current. Okay, so these are the 4 things you need to know about a transistor. Okay, now if you have, oh yeah, forgot about the okay, circuit, sorry, for NPN, right? Where is it? This is NPN. Now we try to explain why for NPN the arrow is facing downward. The arrow facing downward. So what happened is, right, okay, if you see, right, when you on, right, okay, so you see the current, right? So this is the current from the base. So this is your base current. We call it IB, yeah? And then this is your collector current or IC. So you can see the current actually will flow here and then combine here. So that's why the arrow is facing downward. It shows the direction of current. Okay, so collector current and base current. Okay, usually at the base they put a resistor lah. Okay, why? Because okay, if the base current is too high, it can spoil your transistor. Okay, it can spoil the transistor. So they put a resistor here to limit the base current. Okay, to limit the base current. Okay, so you can see, right, the base current flowing this way and then collector flowing this way. So that's why for an NPN transistor, the arrow, what do you call it, going downward, because it shows the direction of current. Okay, it shows the direction of current. Okay, now for PNP, right, is the opposite, because PNP is going to what do you call it, going to supply hole, positive hole. So for PNP, okay, the emitter must be connected. This is your emitter, this is your base, this collector. So the emitter must be connected to a positive terminal. Okay, the base must be connected to a negative terminal. The collector must be more negative, so the collector can get more positive hole. Okay, so the concept is the same lah. The only thing for NPN, the emitter must be in negative because the emitter will supply electron. For case of PNP, emitter must be positive because supply positive hole. Okay, and then the base must be positive for NPN. Collector must be more positive because you want to receive more electron. So this one, the collector must be more negative so that you can receive more positive hole. Okay, so it's similar to this lah. Okay, all these apply here also. Okay, now what happens is sometimes, okay, for transistor, right? Okay, here you can see I'm using two batteries. Sometimes for a transistor circuit, they only use one battery on your right hand side. But on your left hand side, instead of using battery, they use a resistor. Okay, so this function of resistor, we call it as a potential divider. Okay, it's as a potential divider. Now, before we look at how this circuit works, we need to know the understanding of voltage involving in series and parallel circuit. Now, let's say the voltage of the battery here, okay, I put VB, is 6 volt. Okay, now this is the voltage across X. Okay, I put it at Vx. This one is the voltage across Y. I put it Vy lah. Now, since the voltage here is 6 volt, right? Now, this one is parallel to here. So that means the total voltage here must be what? 6 volt, right? Okay. Now, if Vx is 1 volt, how much is Vy? 5 lah, kan? Because 1 plus 5 will give you 6. So what we can see is, if the voltage of X is low, automatically the voltage of Y will be high. Okay? Because the sum will be constant. Okay, now let's say the voltage of okay, let's say the voltage of X now is 6 volt. So what will be the voltage of Y? The voltage of Y will be 0 lah, because 6 plus 0 will give you 6. So meaning, what happened now is, if the voltage of X increases, automatically the voltage of Y decreases. Okay? So just now we look at X and Y. Now we're going to look at base emitter. Now this is a emitter and base. So this one we call it a voltage across base emitter, VBE. Yeah? Okay, VBE. Okay, I'm going to put it as VBE. Yeah? Now, you see what happened is, now, if you see, right, this base emitter is parallel to your Y. They are parallel, meaning the voltage of this Y will equal to your voltage of base emitter. They will be equal because they are parallel, meaning if the Vy is 5 volt, base emitter also will be 5 volt. That means when the voltage across Y is high, the voltage across base emitter also will be high. Or
Sir, how come they parallel, not series?
parallel lah here. Parallel. It's like this, right? Parallel lah.
Yeah, but where is the like voltage there? It's horizontal, right? This one vertical.
Huh?
This one vertical, right? The Y.
What is meant? Like this is parallel, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, the transistor is giving the voltage.
what is that? No, the battery is giving the voltage.
Oh, you're talking about the parallel to the voltage in the battery or to the transistor?
No, this is your. Is this one? This base emitter, right? Base emitter. So this the resistor actually will divide the voltage because here got voltage what? Because the here got voltage, right?
Yeah.
Because if this one is 6 volt, here also got 6 volt.
Yeah.
I mean, if this one take 5 volt, this one will take 1 volt, right?
Yeah.
So this one is parallel to this, right?
Okay.
This emitter base. Okay. So that means if this one is 1 volt, here also must be 1 volt. If this one is 6 volt, here also must be
6 ohm.
6 volt. If this one is 0 volt, here also will be 0 volt. Okay, because they are parallel. Okay. So that means if this voltage is high, because it's emitter base. So emitter base, okay, this is emitter base. So the emitter base is parallel to this. So because like this, it's parallel. These two are series. That's why it's V1 plus V2 equals to 6. These two are series, but this and these are parallel. Okay, these and these are parallel. Okay, so this one is, let's say this one is, what is that? See, what happened is, okay, let's say I put figures lah. Sorry. This is Vx, this is Vy, this will be your base emitter. Okay, so meaning, what is that? Let's say if the voltage of X is 6 volt, so the voltage of Y will be 0. Let's say the voltage of battery is 6 volt. Okay, so the total here must equal to this. That means if the voltage of Y is 6 volt, that means your base voltage, base emitter voltage will be 6 volt. Sorry, 0 volt, sorry. If this one is 0, here also will be 0. So when this one is 0 volt, what happens is basically there's no charges going from emitter to base. So in other words, there won't be any base current. So no base current, no collector current. Okay, now what happened? What happened? Let's say, if this one becomes 1 volt, okay, assuming this one is 6 volt, right? So the voltage across Y will be 5 volt. So what happens to your base voltage now? Your base voltage also will be 5 volt because parallel to this. That means what happens is your base emitter voltage is higher. So when your base emitter voltage is higher, what happens is able to attract more charges. That means more charges from emitter will go to base. That means what happens, there will be base current, there will also be collector current. So there will be base current, there will be collector current. So what happened? Okay, here we say the transistor is on lah, because there is current at the collector. Okay, this one we call it as on. That means transistor will be on. That means there will be current flowing to collector because there will be base current, there will be collector current. Okay, because if you remember, voltage is basically is energy over charge. Okay, V equals to E over Q lah. That means when you have higher voltage, you have higher energy lah to pull the electron. Okay, you have pull electron. So that means more electron goes to base, more electron goes to collector. Okay, so less electron goes to base, more electron goes to collector. That means if there's base current, there'll be collector current. Now, what happens if, let's say, the voltage here is 6 volt, here is 6 volt. Okay, because battery total 6 volt, right? So that means your base voltage here will be 0 volt. So that means what happened? There won't be any, okay, let's say there won't be any charges going to base. No charges going to base, that means there won't be any base current. So if there's no base current, there won't be any collector current. This one we call it transistor as switch off. Off means, okay, there's no current flowing to the collector lah. Okay, so based on this, right, what we can see is, okay, the transistor act as an automatic switch. Okay, the transistor will act as an automatic switch. Now, example. Okay, let's say you want to create a circuit, okay, where the bulb lights up automatically when it is dark. Okay, example like a street light. So you cannot be going and on all the street light. Okay, you want it to be done automatically. So the circuit will be like this. What you need is, okay, you need a bulb here, you need a transistor, whether NPN or PNP doesn't matter, and then you have another special kind of resistor, we call it LDR. Now, LDR is a special kind of resistor where the resistance changes according to the brightness. Okay, resistance changes according to brightness. Now, the actual name is light dependent resistor. Okay, light dependent resistor. Light dependent resistor. That means perintang peka cahaya. Okay, when it's dark, the resistance is very high. When it's bright, the resistance is very low. Okay, the resistance changes according to the brightness. Okay, now usually I put it in box form to explain how it functions. Okay, now you see it works like this. Okay, now we look at what happened. Okay, when dark. Now when dark, resistance of LDR is high. So let's say I put a resistance of LDR is high. Now if you use the formula V equals to IR, when your R is high, your V will be I. Okay, because they are directly proportional. So automatically the voltage across LDR will be high. So when this voltage is high, because base emitter is parallel to this, so the voltage across the base emitter will be high. So what happens when the voltage across base emitter is high? That means there will be charges from emitter going to base. That means the base is able to attract charges because of higher voltage. So in other words, there will be base current. Okay, so there will be base current flowing, or there will be IB lah. Okay, so because of that, there will be collector current flowing, or IC. Okay, so there will be collector current flowing. So because of that, the bulb will light up. Okay, so because of that, the bulb will light up during dark. Okay, when it's dark. Okay, now the thing is, if you see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points before you say the bulb lights up. Now in exam, usually sometimes they just give you 2 points. They ask you, they give you 2 marks or 3 marks. They ask you, okay, explain why. Let's say, explain how the bulb lights up when dark. So you just need to give 2 or 3 points, depending on your marking scheme. If they give you 2 points, you just say what happened when dark. You just say there is base current flowing, there's collector current flowing. You get 2 marks lah. If they give 3 points, you can say, okay, what happened during dark, when how the bulb lights up when dark. You just say resistance of LDR is high, there is base current flowing, there's collector current flowing. Okay. Now this is one way of looking at it. Now another way of looking at it, okay, you can talk about the current. Now let's say okay, when dark, resistance of LDR will be very high, so in mega ohm. Okay, the resistance is mega ohm. So let's say I put in values lah. Okay, let's say the resistance is 5 mega ohm. Yeah. Now let's say this resistance is, let's say 10 kilo ohm. Okay. So what happened when dark, right? Okay, let's say the current comes from battery. So it goes here. Now coming to this junction, the current actually can go to down here or go here, right? But the current will go to 10 kilo ohm because this one, the resistance is much more lesser compared to this. It's 5 mega ohm. So that means there'll be current flowing at the base. So when there's current flowing at the base, there'll be current flowing at collector. So what happened? Your bulb will light up. Okay, the bulb will light up. Okay, now what happened when bright? When bright, right, resistance of LDR is low. That means resistance of LDR will be low. Now when this low, that means the voltage across LDR also will drop because V equals to IR. So smaller R, smaller V. So what happened to your base voltage? Your base voltage also will drop. So when your base voltage drop, that means your base cannot pull the charges from emitter to base. Yeah. Okay, that means there's no charges going to base. So if there's no charges going to base, that means your base current will be smaller. Say there's no base current, sorry. So there's no IB, there won't be any collector current. So there's no IC. So no base current, no collector current. So the bulb doesn't light up because there's no collector current. Okay. So same thing lah. If this one they give you 2 marks, you say why it doesn't light up, you say no base current, no collector current. If they give you 3 marks, you say resistance of LDR is low, so no base, no collector. Now, if you want to explain in terms of current, okay. Now, let's say this one is 10 kilo ohm. Now, when bright, what happened? The resistance of LDR will drop. So now, let's say now the resistance become 100 ohm because bright, right? So the current will come here, it will go here, it will go here. Okay, coming to here, now the current can split into 2, right? But this is 10 kilo ohm, this is only 100 ohm. So what happened? Majority of the current will flow down here. because this part offer lesser resistance. So what happened? There's no current going to base, there's no current going to collector. Okay, so this is what happened when bright and dark. Okay, so when dark, the bulb will light up automatically. When bright, it doesn't light up. Okay, so usually I use this point to explain lah. So okay, so what you need to do is something like this. Remember, okay, when dark, the resistance of LDR is high. So when this R is high, this voltage will be high. So base voltage will be high. So got base current, got collector current. Okay, so when dark, okay, resistance of LDR will drop. So the voltage across LDR will drop. So the base voltage also will drop because they are parallel. So when they are parallel, the voltage is same. So this one will drop. So what happened? There won't be any base current. There won't be any collector current. So your bulb will not light up. Now, the question that came out before in SPM is, they give you an opposite situation where they shift. They put the LDR up, they put the resistor down. So they ask you what happened. Okay, now we look at the situation when dark and bright, right? Okay, when dark, the resistance of LDR will be high. So again, so now resistance of LDR will be high. We are talking about dark, when dark. Okay. So automatically what happens is your voltage across LDR will be high. Okay. So what happened? Automatically the voltage across base will be higher. Okay. So what happened now is there will be base current because the charges can flow through base. So there will be collector current. So now what happened? The bulb will light up when. Talking about different circuit now. This one, sorry. Okay, this one. Now the LDR is on top, sorry. Yeah. So we look at what happened during dark. Okay, so the first thing, I use short form, the resistance of LDR will be high. Okay, so what happened is, okay, resistance across LDR will be high. So automatically voltage across LDR will be high. Now, when this voltage is high, remember the voltage down here will be low lah. Automatically the voltage across base emitter will be low. Okay, so what happened? There won't be any base current. No base current, no collector current. So now what's going to happen? When dark, the bulb doesn't light up. Okay, when dark, the bulb doesn't light up. Okay, now another way of looking at it, we look at the current. Now we know that when dark, the resistance of LDR is very high. Let's say 5 mega ohm. So what happened? Let's say the current coming here, right? Here itself it cannot flow. So there won't be any current flowing because the resistance is very, very high. Okay, so it's too high, 5 mega ohm. So that means there's no base current, there's no collector current. So no base current, no collector current. So the bulb will not light up when it's dark. Okay. Okay, so this is how we explain lah. Okay. Now what happened when bright? Okay, when bright. So so now we look at what happened when bright. So when bright, resistance of LDR will be low. Okay, so we know that resistance of LDR will be low. So the voltage across LDR will be low. Automatically the voltage across resistor will be high lah. Okay, the voltage across resistor will be high. So automatically the voltage across base emitter also will be high. Okay, so now the base will have higher voltage. That means it's able to attract charges. It's able to attract charges to your base. Okay, so that means more charges can go to base. That means more charges will go to collector. So that means there'll be base current now. So there'll be IB, there will be IC. So what happens is there'll be base current, there'll be collector current. The bulb will light up when bright. Okay, the bulb will light up when bright. Okay, another way of looking at it. Okay, now let's say okay, I put this one as 10 kilo ohm. This one also 10 kilo ohm. Okay, now what happened when bright? So we know, right, when bright, resistance of LDR will drop. Let's say the resistance is 200 ohm. So now the current can flow. Okay, because here very low, right? Okay, here got 10 kilo ohm, 10 kilo ohm, so same resistance, so it will split into two. So we can see there is already current flowing to base. So if there's current to base, there'll be current to collector. Okay, so there's current through base, there'll be current to collector. So that means what happened? Your bulb will light up lah. Okay, so now the bulb will light up when it's bright, not dark. Okay, now why they ask this kind of question? Because later they ask you to modify. Let's say they say, okay, the bulb lights up when bright. Usually we don't want this situation. We want the bulb to light up automatically when it's dark. So you need to switch lah. Bring the resistor up, bring the LDR down. Okay, now another circuit, automatic switch circuit is fire alarm. Okay, for fire alarm, what's going to happen is we're going to switch
Sir, why both is this using NPN? No one using PNP here.
Can. You just switch the battery only. It doesn't matter. You just switch the terminal, it doesn't matter. It works the same. Okay. Now, this one is, let's say there is a fire, right? You want to, what do you call it? You want to switch on the alarm automatically in case there is fire. Okay. Okay. So what happens is, you have to use another type of resistor, call it thermistor, from the word thermal resistor. Okay. Thermal resistor. Okay. So for thermal resistor,
Hello.
okay.
Hello.
So use a thermistor. Now, thermistor is a thermal resistor. That means the resistance depends on temperature. Okay, depends on temperature. That means what happens is when you give heat, that means higher temperature, the resistance will be low. When lower temperature, that means when it's cold, right? The temperature, the resistance will be high. Okay, yeah. Now, so you look at the situation. Now, when there is no fire means low temperature lah. Okay, low temperature. So what happens is resistance of thermistor will drop. So this resistance will drop. So this voltage will drop. So voltage of resistor will increase. So that means your base voltage will have higher voltage value now. Okay, so the base emitter voltage will be higher. So what happens? There will be base current flowing. So automatically there will be collector current flowing. So automatically the alarm will be triggered. Okay, alarm will be triggered.
So low temperature alarm will be triggered.
Okay, resistance of thermistor is high. So this voltage is high. So this voltage will be low. So base emitter voltage will be low. So that means there's no base current. Okay, so there won't be any collector current. Okay, because your base voltage is low. That means there's no charges going to base. There's no charges going to collector. So that means your alarm will not be triggered. Okay. Now, when there is fire, what happens is resistance of thermistor will drop because you give heat. So voltage of thermistor will drop, voltage of resistor will increase. So when this increase, voltage of base will increase because they are parallel. So there'll be charges going to base. That means there'll be base current or IB, then there'll be collector current or IC. So that means your alarm will be switched on. Okay, that means the alarm will be triggered lah. So the alarm will be triggered. Okay. Now the thing is, they can give you another situation. Let's say if you want to switch on the aircon automatically when it is hot. So what you do is you change the alarm to aircon lah, or you want to switch on the fan automatically when it's hot. So you switch the alarm to fan. Okay. So basically, right, this one is like a automatic, okay, switch circuit. Okay, depends on the condition of the surrounding lah. Okay, now usually for thermistor, when hot, we want that appliance to work. Okay, whereas for LDR, okay, we want it to work when it is dark. So LDR usually we put down here. Okay, so how to remember lah? Okay, you see the word LDR. Okay, light dependence. So you assume L as low lah. Okay, so usually we put at the lower position. Okay, so LDR we put at the lower position. Okay, now whereas thermistor, okay, thermistor, right? So it starts with the letter T. So T we stand for top. So we put at the top position here. So it's how we remember lah. So thermistor usually on top, LDR usually down. Because LDR we want it to work when dark, whereas thermistor we want it to work when it's what do you call it? When it's hot or higher temperature lah. Okay. Now the example of question that came out before in SPM. Okay, question number 18. Now, figure shows a light dependent diode, RNS, a light emitting diode, a transistor, and a battery that will be connected to form a circuit. The LED emit lights in a bright surrounding. So state one function of transistor. So the function is as automatic switch. Okay, you must have the word automatic switch. Cannot write switch alone. Automatic. That means automatically it will be on according to the condition of the surrounding. Okay. Now complete the circuit in the diagram above so that LED emits light in a bright surrounding. So what they want you to do is they want you to do the wiring of the circuit. So just do the wiring lah. Sorry. So first you do the outer part. Okay, just do the wiring. Okay, just draw the wire lah.
Wow, like that question also got it.
Huh?
Like that question also got it.
Got lah. Okay. So just do the wiring. Okay. Next. Okay. Now give one reason LED emits light in a bright surrounding. So you can give a lot of answers. You say there is base current, okay, flowing, or there is collector current flowing. Okay. Okay, current flowing. Okay, so there's base current flowing, there's collector current flowing can. Okay, so there's base current flowing, there's collector current flowing also can. Okay, what is that? Okay, so transistor, right? The keyword is like that. You say why it is on. You just say there's base current, there's collector current. Why is off? No base, no collector current. Okay, you can use the kind of thing lah. Okay, if you want to say resistance, you must say resistance of LDR is low, so can. Okay, okay, resistance of LDR is low, so can. Okay, but usually I just prefer easier like just say base current smaller. There's base current, there's collector current. Okay, next. Okay, what modification required so that the LED emit light in a bright surrounding, right? You have to switch lah. Let me just say switch the position between LDR and R. Okay, switch position between LDR, and R. Okay. C, an alarm is needed which emits sound when there is a fire. Two modifications have to be made to circuit by replacing electronic components. State one electronic component. State one electronic component which need to be replaced. Now, when they say need to be replaced, that means need to be taken out. Okay, so it's basically there's two components you have to take out. One is the LDR because you cannot detect heat, and then LED also have to take out. LED is like the bulb lah. LED you have to take out because you cannot emit sound. So you can choose either one lah, because they only ask one, right? So one component that need to be taken out, you can say LED, okay, because cannot emit sound, or LDR. LDR cannot what do you call it? Detect heat. Correct. Okay. Name two components that are needed. Needed, that means you have to put in back. So the one that you have to put in back, it will be your thermistor lah. Okay, thermistor and alarm. Okay, thermistor and alarm. Okay. Next. What else? In the space below, draw the circuit diagram, right? So what you must do, you have to draw the circuit diagram. This one a bit difficult lah. That means you have to draw this. Okay, you have to draw this. You have to draw this lah. Okay. So you have to draw this. Okay. So thermistor, resistor, and then all this don't need lah. All this don't need. The VBE, all this don't need lah. And then the alarm. Okay. If you do not know the symbol, you just put a box. You write there thermistor, alarm. Okay. You have to draw that. Draw this lah. Okay. This one, the VBE, all don't need lah. Okay. So that will be the answer for the last part. Okay. Now we look at another example of SPM question. Now diagram 4 shows a circuit with a transistor that acts as an automatic switch. Resistor acts as a high resistance in the dark and then low resistance in bright. So name the type of resistor for X lah. So this one is LDR or light dependent resistor. Okay. Now resistance of X is 40 kilo ohm and it's dark. Calculate the potential difference between TU. Okay, this one involved will be the calculation. Now remember, the whole thing here is 6 volt. So the whole thing here will be 6 volt. Okay. So X is 40 kilo ohm. Okay. Now we know that V equals to IR. Okay. So we know that V is directly proportional to R lah. Okay. So we're going to do like a ratio method. Now we know that from here to here, right? From S to U, your total resistance is 50 kilo ohm. So 50 kilo ohm is equivalent to 6 volt. Okay. So 50 kilo ohm equivalent to 6 volt. That means if you only have 40 kilo ohm, what will be the voltage? So 40 divided with 50 times 6. Okay. You use like a ratio method lah. Okay. So because from here to here is 50 kilo ohm. So 50 kilo ohm is 6 volt. That means if there's only 40 kilo ohm, that means you want to know the voltage here, right? So what is the voltage? So 40 divided with 50 times 6. Okay. So what do you get? 40 divided with 50 times 6. So 4.8. Okay. 4.8. Okay. So use the ratio method. So the whole thing is 6 volt. So that means for 50 kilo ohm. That means 40 kilo ohm, 40 over 50 times 6. Okay. So the next question they ask you, okay, explain why the light emitting diode lights up when X is dark. Okay. This one you can say that, okay, 2 points. You see there is base current. Okay, and then there is collector current. There's base current flowing, there's collector current flowing. Okay, sometimes they use the word because the base circuit is switched on, collector circuit is switched on. Okay, they call it the base circuit and there's collector circuit also can. Okay, so base circuit switch on, collector circuit switch on. Base circuit switch off, collector circuit switch off. Okay, now one more example, number 20. Now diagram 4.1 shows the use of a transistor in a circuit. So name the type of transistor used. So this one, the arrow going down, so we say NPN. Okay. Now, according to the question, they said, okay, the transistor switch on when the base voltage is at least 2 volt. Okay, the base voltage is at least 2 volt. That means they say it's only on when the base voltage minimum 2 volt. Write equation between IB, IC, IE. Yeah? So just say IE equals to IB plus IC. Okay. Next, calculate the minimum value of R2. Minimum value of R2. Okay, minimum value. Now they say in order for the transistor to switch on, this one must be minimum 2 volt. Yeah. Now this whole thing is 6 volt. If this one is 2 volt, that means the balance on top here must take up 4 volt lah. Because total is 6 volt. Okay. So use the ratio method. If 4 volt equivalent to 1500 ohm, so that means if you only have 2 volt, what is the respective resistance? So that means
750 lah.
750 lah. Okay, 750. Okay, just divide with 2 lah. Okay, so the calculation is not that difficult lah. You have to look at the voltage. Okay, 750 ohm. Okay, now next. Resistor R2 is then replaced with the light dependent resistor which has a high resistance when dark. So explain whether the bulb will light up during the day. That means this one you use LDR. So they say whether the bulb will light up. So when you put the LDR down here, definitely will light up. So you just say light up. Okay, light. Okay, reason because.
So, but they say during the day, right?
Oh, sorry, during the day. So
Uh-huh.
does not light up. Bagus Tusha ni. You're alert. Today you're not drunk lah.
Vegetarian, sir.
Huh?
Vegetarian.
Base circuit. Okay, there's no base current. Okay. You can say there's no base current, there's no collector current, or you can say resistance of LDR is high. All this can. Okay. Because okay, there's only one mark there. Okay. Only thing if they ask you in AC question, because if they give you 4 marks, you have to give 4 points lah. Okay. Now, beside using as a switch, what is the function of a transistor? Okay. Now, beside using as a switch, a transistor can also be used as an amplifier. Okay. So, amplifier uses transistor. Okay. Now, example of an amplifier circuit. Okay. So, what happened, right? Okay, this is an example of amplifier circuit. Now, let's say when you talk to a microphone, you want the sound that comes out from the speaker. This earphone is a speaker lah. You want the sound to come out with a higher loudness, meaning higher amplitude. So what happened is you have a transistor here. So what happened? You talk using a microphone. Okay, so you talk using a microphone. So let's say the sound is very soft. So what the microphone does is the microphone convert your AC. Your microphone will convert your sound into current. It will be alternating current because your this one will fluctuate. Okay. 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 So what happened? The current, will convert into current. So sound into current. So what happened is you see, this will change the voltage across the microphone. Okay. The voltage across microphone, right? So this voltage across microphone is parallel to base. So there'll be small changes in your microphone voltage. Okay, because you detect sound now. So it will create the changes across the voltage of the microphone. So automatically there'll be changes across your base voltage. Okay, that means before, okay, before there is no, when the microphone doesn't detect any sound, that means there's no voltage across the microphone because there's no sources. That means your voltage across microphone will be low, voltage across base will be low. But now when the when the microphone detect any sound, so there'll be increment in the voltage across the microphone. So there'll be increment voltage across the base. So small changes in the base voltage produce big changes in your collector current. So there'll be small changes in your base current. It causes a big changes in your collector current. So what happened? That's why it's able to produce a louder sound. Okay, so the microphone, okay, convert your sound into current. So this one causes a small changes in the base current. Because why? There will be changes in your microphone voltage, there will be changes in your base voltage because they are parallel to each other. So this will cause a big changes in the collector current. So because of that, it's able to produce a louder sound. Okay, so transistor basically has two functions. One is the amplifier, another one will be the what do you call it, automatic switch. Okay, ya, tadi siapa tanya ni, kenapa doesn't light up this one? R2 replace with LDR when D. Okay, okay, so this one, right? Okay, if you change this one to LDR, okay, so they say one doesn't light up when day, right? So if daytime, what happened? Resistance of LDR will be low. So that means the voltage here will be low, right? So that means your VBE also be low. Okay, because there's a low voltage low. That means base emitter voltage will be low. So what happened? There won't be any base current, there won't be any collector current. Okay, so that's why daytime it doesn't light up. Okay, because daytime is bright, right? So bright, what happened is, okay, bright causes resistance of LDR will be low lah. So no base current, no collector current. Okay, now provided let's say daytime when it's raining, maybe the cloud, okay, is darker. Sorry, now it's become darker, so it can light up during daytime also. Okay, surrounding, if the surrounding is dark lah, let's say when it's going to rain, kind of thing. Okay. Ya, waktu pagi biasanya cerah, waktu malam gelap. Sebab itu Tuhan suruh kamu tidur pada waktu malam, bangun pada waktu pagi. Bukan tidur pada waktu pagi, bangun pada waktu malam. Waktu malam untuk kamu rehat. Okay, so malam is gelap. Okay, so when night will be night will be dark, bright. Daytime will be bright lah. Okay, we assume in that manner. Sometimes the daytime you can argue also. Let's say if it's raining, okay, then you can say it be dark. Then the street lamp can light up. Okay, but now at the moment we assume daytime is bright lah. Okay, so daytime will be bright. So when bright, resistance of LDR will be low. So base voltage will be low. So no base current, no collector current. Okay, nighttime resistance of LDR will be high. Okay, that means LDR resistance will be high. So base V2 will be high. That means base voltage will be high. Okay, so base voltage high, that means more current flowing to base, more current going to collector, but will light up. Okay, so these are the two functions of your what they call it, transistor lah. Usually the question of transistor, they doesn't need you to explain like, the electron flow from emitter flow to base and the kind of thing lah. Okay, what they ask you usually is this kind of manner. Okay, but the keyword must be there lah. When they ask you why it lights up, it must say, okay, either say the base current is high, collector current is high, resistance of LDR is low or high, whatever lah, or higher base voltage. Okay, the kind of terms they want lah. Okay, now this one, right, actually quite important in your essay lah, because for the past few years essay only came out few about this. Okay, but I think I've done the video on the essay. This one I forward in the group lah, so you can look at the video and then the question is this one. These are the essay questions that came out before in your past year. Okay, so you can, okay, I'll send you the video of the answer for these questions so that you can look at the video and then try to understand lah. If you don't understand, you can ask me. Okay, so I think that's all for today. Okay, I don't think Monday got class because Monday is a public holiday. Okay, but we only have one subtopic left. Okay, the last subtopic will be logic gate lah. Okay, after that we can go to the last chapter. The last chapter, Tusha will do the presentation because very easy.
Sir, sekolah buka bila, sir?
Sekolah akan buka bila menteri bagi tahu. dia akan bagi notis 2 minggu. Okay, dia akan bagi notis 2 minggu.
So, sir, not check get notice, right?
Okay.
So still got 2 more weeks lah.
Kawal nafsu tu.
No, the thing is, let's say the fella tell tomorrow today, that means 2 weeks from now. Understand or not?
Oh, so still can skip it. Okay.
They will say when is it? They won't say now. When they say 2 weeks,
Okay.
not 2 weeks from now. You haven't so far you mentioned, so it's still open lah. So it can be rumors. Maybe they ask you to sit down at home and study also again.
Sir, better, right, sir? You go
Because
see
it
how
is
the
declared.
table they put.
Huh?
The distance you go see the table they put in between the students.
Business.
Table lah, sir.
Distance.
Table,
Yeah.
distance.
I know it's but 1 meter apart.
Yeah, pigeon lekat also with me all the time.
Huh? Hey, you are not in the same class. You're not in the same class.
Yeah, but still we have to
Sir,
pecah-pecah,
satu
right?
kelas berapa orang, sir?
5J, 5O, 5H tak pecah. 5NST
Tak
pecah.
pecah. Alhamdulillah.
Ya, betul tak pecah.
Hah?
Asyik.
Budak kau tak
5O tak
ramai.
pecah.
Aku dah cakap, Lim, tak pecah, Lim. Kau tak percaya cakap aku semua.
5J,
tak
5O,
pecah.
5H tak pecah.
Only thing you have to book up the shutter lah. The thing is, because why they say 17 student, because they assume your class cannot be, what they call it? It's like a concrete, right? But your class, you can open the shutter, what?
Sir, buka shutter nanti mana ada social distancing. Kita buka.
Oh, wow.
Kita kan bodoh.
Creative,
Kau tahu,
doh.
Jangan terbodoh
Don't
sangat.
die.
Macam exam lah. Dia cara sitting dia macam exam. So, one meeting
Jauh-jauh I
exam lah.
cannot see, you know.
Huh?
Jauh-jauh cannot see, you know.
What?
The whiteboard lah.
Can see lah. What can you cannot see?
Sir, kita tak ada exam ke, sir?
During exam, they ask you to see that way. How come you cannot see? SPM, they're going to do
Yeah.
that.
We seeing the paper in front of us, right? We cannot see the
Dah
picture
lah.
on there, right?
Whiteboard.
Let's say if there's a pembetulan, they give you papers, you know, right? They ask you to write in the whiteboard, what?
Tak,
Yeah,
sir.
sir, you
Kita
will
ada
lah, sir,
exam
you
ke?
will.
Online exam ke? Betul-betulnya exam ke? Ada
Jangan
ke?
tanya exam lah.
Kita lepas ni kita habis syllabus, buka sekolah kita buat exam terus.
Sekarang dah cakap, Lim. Ha.
You see, you all are lucky because if you follow the online classes, after this you can do a lot of latihan already. When you do a lot
Banyak
of
minta Jen. Banyak minta
Aku dah cakap, Lim. Kita kena bersedia, Lim.
yeah. Because your
Tajam
SPM is
tak
next
faham.
year. Okay. The SPM is next year. Kan? So if the SPM is next year, so you have a lot of time to do revision. Basically, you must do a lot of questions, that's all. The problem is if you don't do question, no point you read it, you must do a question. So you must expose yourself to questions.
So now we cannot go. Now the past year paper already come out, right? Popular.
Last year paper came out long time already.
No, for last year one.
Last year one got, I think. Tusha, you don't ask last year. You can do the previous one. It's whether you want to do or not.
That's why, sir. I always got want to do, but then when I sit down, right, cannot really.
This one. The problem is with you. Okay.
Pijan COD jam?
Tak kau.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Ini parents kena panggil baru masuk kelas. Kalau tak, tak ada masuk. Ini 20 lebih.
Bangun sendiri lah.
Sir,
Eh, ni
dia
siapa?
semangat, sir.
Ini Haikal lagi tak? Haikal.
Ada.
Hey, kau letak je nama biasa. Lepas tu letak kelas 5T. Takkan kau tak kenal budak form 5? Berapa orang? Dalam 10 orang je kan? Mana Haikal ni? Tidur ke Haikal?
Ada, sir.
Ada.
Sekejap, sabarlah Ego. Nanti saya buat lah satu. Sabar. Benda
Daripada awal tahun sampai sekarang perkataan kau sabar. Betul. Apa kelebihan dia?
Yelah.
Aku nak cerita ni.
Yelah.
Betul. Mesti gelapnya. Sebab tahun depan kau akan sekolah juga Haikal. Tahun depan kau boleh masuk lagi PKBM tandingan kawat. Tapi tali kasut kena ikat betul-betul.
Yelah Ego, yelah.
Betul. Sebab tahun depan kau ambil SPM ke? Okay. Dah.
Yelah,
Dah keluar
Ego.
Haikal.
Okay lah, bye, sir. Take care, sir.
Ada
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
more pasti represent basketball next year.
Can lah, sir.
Can lah because you next year only SPM ah.
Serious, you not lying,
Sure lah.
Okay. I come back to you.
Okay. Dah.